All right, welcome again to the Frank Walker, West Virginia podcast, where we talk all things criminal defense and injury concerning your rights and how you can be best represented when you're going through your legal situation. Now, today, we're going to talk about medical malpractice. Now, you've seen the billboards, you've seen the commercials, you've seen the attorneys get on TV and explain to you that you don't have to pay anything unless they get money for you. But what does that actually mean? What is medical malpractice? Well, medical malpractice is when you go to a doctor, you go to a hospital, and you go in for one thing, expecting to get treatment for that thing, expecting to get treatment for that ailment, for that condition. And the doctor does not properly diagnose you, either for just sloppiness, negligence. They misdiagnose, meaning they say it's one thing and it could be something else. But let's talk about one of the most severe things in our country today, cancer. With 5 stages of cancer, it starts off 1 and progresses through 5. So you're going in thinking that, oh, it's one thing, it's maybe pneumonia. And they tell you it's pneumonia. Well, lo and behold, a year later, you find out that it's stage 1 cancer. And you're dealing with all your emotions. You're dealing with, what do I do next? Do I go to a cancer center? Do I go to a specialist? Well, what you really should do is contact an experienced medical malpractice attorney. And here's why. Because the doctor in the hospital should and can be held liable for misdiagnosing. They breached their standard of care. They did not give you the appropriate standard of care by ordering the proper tests, by interpreting the test, by doing what they need to maybe bring in a specialist, refer you to a specialist, do additional testing, do an EKG, take blood, interpret the blood, send it off. These are simple things that doctors and hospitals are trained to do. But because there are so many people coming in, things get missed, either intentionally or inadvertently. But as a patient, you want to understand how you can advocate for yourself. You know your body. No one knows your body better than you do. And you know when you're not feeling well. So if you go to the doctor, the hospital, and they send you home thinking, oh, here's some penicillin, here's some amoxicillin, take this, take these vitamins, you'll be fine. It's just soreness. It's just age. It's just stress. It's just your family. It's just your work. It's just whatever you're doing that's the cause of how you're feeling. It's not anything else. There's no need for us to do any further testing. I'm busy. I have other things to do. It's outside of your insurance coverage. It's outside of your plan, outside of your network. We can't do that right now. I have to call you back later on. Well, in that time that you're waiting, in that time they misdiagnose you and sent you home with something less severe, thinking that's less severe, that disease is slowly progressing in your body. And in that time, that could have been treated earlier. It could have been taken out of your body. It could have been treated at stage 1. Now you come in, you're at stage 4, or worse, stage 5, and your future looks bleak. So what do you do at that point? Because the doctors in the hospital, they're not going to tell you, they're not going to pick up the phone and call you and say, you know what, we messed up. They're just not going to do it. In our line of work, there is a saying that doctors get to bury their mistakes. And unfortunately, that's what they do a lot. And it's not fair. It is not fair whatsoever. So that's why you need someone who is fighting for you. So when you see people who are advocating, hey, you need to contact us, make sure you do your research. Contact an experienced medical malpractice attorney who speaks to the issues that you are facing. If you're not talking to the attorney, or you never see the attorney, you're dealing with a paralegal, you're dealing with a secretary, and you never get your answers to your questions, seek out someone else. Seek out someone who understands what medical malpractice means and how serious it could mean for the prognosis of your future and your health. Now, in most medical malpractice cases, most people think you're just suing the hospital and that's it. Well, no, there are many people who could be liable. The oncologists, the pulmonologists, the neurologists, the nurses, the PCP, the people you were referred to, the people who did the testing. And if you wait too long and you're thinking, oh, all I have to do is sue the hospital and everyone else is included, then you may miss out because of the statute of limitations. And in most cases, it could be 2 years. But depending on where you are and what type of case you're bringing, you want to make sure you sue all the possible responsible parties. It could change later on after you file your lawsuit. But if you don't sue all the possible responsible parties within the time frame allotted, then you could miss out on possible recovery for your injuries. Now, in some instances, breast cancer, unfortunately, can be misdiagnosed as many different things. It could be, some of the common ones are inflammation, fibrocystic breast disease, or anything else like that. They will steer clear of saying breast cancer, because that requires a different type of testing, different type of work, different type of referrals, blood work, CT scans, different type of time that is not allotted for their schedule. And that's why you need to contact a medical malpractice attorney to make sure they are being held accountable for the things they did not do. Similarly, lung cancer. It can also be misdiagnosed, acid reflux, asthma, bronchitis, or any other type of inflammation, because simply that's the path of least resistance. Anything else requires them to do additional testing, refer out, additional time, and they're not willing to do that, simply because observer error, lesion characteristics, or any technical defects. Any of this could lead to misdiagnosis of lung cancer. And if it's misdiagnosed in the beginning, it can metastasize and it can grow and it can manifest and show up months, maybe even years later as a stage 4, stage 5 cancer. So you want to make sure you're advocating for yourself and making sure that you trust your body, listen to your body. And if they're sending you off saying it's something simple, when you know it just doesn't feel right, go to another doctor. And once you go to another doctor, another professional, make sure you contact an attorney who specializes in medical malpractice, specifically in the area of breast cancer and lung cancer in West Virginia. Again, any questions at all times, give us a call, 412-532-6805, and visit us online at frankwalkerlaw.com.